Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to another video. Hope you're all doing well. I know it's been a very long time since I last uploaded and I have zero excuses. I just suck and I've been slacking and I'm probably gonna do it again in the future because that's just who I am as a person. But for today's video, I'm gonna be discussing Derrick Hendry again, and to kind of repeat myself a little bit for past videos or people that don't know who that is, Derrick Hendry was my beat partner a long time ago when we both were deputies for the Mendocino County Sheriff's Office, and then up until recently he was a lieutenant with the Willits Police Department in Mendocino County and was recently terminated there. He was a lieutenant. And by the way, for those of you who don't know, both of these agencies are in Northern California. So another video about him because some pretty serious allegations have been brought up against him and it's come to my attention in the last couple days. So for those of you that didn't watch my most recent video on him, he was fired a couple months ago. I believe it's been a couple months now for sexual harassment of a female police officer that worked underneath him, his subordinate at Willits PD. They're still dealing with that whole issue civilly through the city of Willits, but he has been terminated for not only sexually harassing her, but there's like some other policy violations and things like that he was doing as well on top of whatever he did to her. But it's come to my attention recently that more than 5 but less than 10, I'm not sure on the exact number, but it's more than 5 less than 10 different women have come forward fairly recently, and not all of them know each other, to report allegations against Derrick Hendry of rape, varying incidents of sexual abuse, robbery, all sorts of stuff. And all these women, I believe for the most part, used to be his informants that he would work when he was in law enforcement for the Mendocino County Sheriff's Office as well as the Willits Police Department. It spans back probably over a decade. And so what he was doing, or what these allegations are, okay, so I'm not saying I have evidence of any of this stuff, guys, all right, but this is the truth. This is all the facts that I have regarding the case. Well, not all of them. I'm not going to disclose every single little thing or even who these people are and their names, obviously, but this is the case right now, and this is the truth. So this is actually happening. It's in the process of being dealt with by a certain by Lake County Sheriff's Office. So this is what's going on. So these informants, according to them, what Derrick would do is and I do this too, and a lot of cops do it. If you have informants or you have snitches or whatever it is, you get them with something minor. They break the law in some small regard, and sometimes they have for an example, they have a personal amount of methamphetamine or heroin or something like that, which is obviously not a big deal anymore, but back, a while back it was. So you'd be like, hey, okay, I'll hold this evidence against you and I'll hold this case against you in exchange for information, because we're not going after the people that are using it for personal use. We want the big fish, we want the distributors, we want the people that are giving it to all the people in the community that are causing crime rates to go up and home invasions to increase, overdoses and things like that. Like, those are the people we want to go after. So we would hold these little minor things sometimes over people and just be like, hey, so this case can go away totally and it won't affect your probation or whatever you got going on, but we want to know who's providing this dope to you, right? So according to these women, Derrick would do that with them, but instead of getting the information that would lead to like distributors or whatever normal cop would want, he was demanding sexual favors in return, oral sex in general, and things like that. It was also alleged that he would take their money, take their dope sometimes, and if a few, I don't know how many exactly, but I do know of at least one for sure, that if they weren't down for the sexual favor thing, there's allegations of him raping this person in this instance, planting evidence where he would have he would just carry narcotics on him sometimes, like an ounce of heroin, throw it in this woman's car and say, okay, there's your case now. If he wasn't able to put a case on them before that, like they didn't have anything on him, he pulled them over. He's like, now you owe me. And it would be, like I said, sexual favors and pretty much whatever he wanted. He would threaten them with violence sometimes, or killing them if they ever said anything, or if they didn't do whatever he wanted. And I believe one or two of these incidents, I'm fairly certain, not 100%, that these things were captured either on video or photograph with him in uniform at the Mendocino County Sheriff's Office, and I believe at the Willits Police Department. Not 100% on that though. Either way, all these different allegations, they're very serious in nature. And also some of it corroborated what I'd stated in early videos that I did on him, where I had heard rumors back in the day about him like ripping people off, taking their dope, keeping it, selling it, keeping their money, whatever the case is, especially on weed grows with him and his partners back in the day. But all these things that I've been hearing regarding these women that have come forward, it's not surprising to me at all. Like just because I know him as a person, he's a psychopath. So it's not that weird for me to hear it. So they reported it, an outside agency took over the case, Lake County Sheriff's Office, because you're not going to have that done in-house for obvious reasons due to biases and things like that. And I don't know all the facts of the case, like I stated, but there was enough evidence and enough probable cause that Lake County Sheriff's Office was able to author a search warrant and have a judge sign off on it. So Lake County Sheriff's Office served this warrant on Derek Hendry's home, searched his home, seized his electronic devices, cell phone, laptop, computer, whatever he had, obtained a statement from him regarding these allegations. Photo lineups were done with him in it, and he was pointed out by however many of these victims that they did a photo lineup with. I'm not 100% sure on that either, but I do know that it was done. So he's very much well aware of the case now. So this video isn't going to inhibit the investigation in any manner because he knows what's going on. And the search warrant was already done, he's already been talked to, and he's not an idiot, so he knows what's up. And then, so now going forward, there's been discussion of the case getting sent to the district attorney's office in Mendocino County down in Ukiah, because that's the jurisdiction where all these crimes occurred in Mendocino County and various towns. In my opinion, that's a terrible idea, because that county is so corrupt, so full of holes and rats and liars and everything like that. It's all about who you know, and we've seen that before. Like what happened with Noble Widelick, for example, like the ex-police chief of Ukiah Police Department that was recently fired a couple months ago for an assault, which is probably a very polite way to say sexual assault or sexual battery or something like that against a woman. Where Sonoma County Sheriff's Office took that investigation. They said they were going to release information on it within 2 weeks, and that was like 2 months ago. So I think that, and that just proves like who you know, and getting away with things, not having the information put out there. And that was very clear when I did that video with the child pornography case with the lieutenant at Mendocino County Sheriff's Office, his son, how Matt Kendall, the sheriff, tried to sweep that all under the rug and make sure that nobody heard about it until I did the video on it, and then they had to address it. So I think that if Mendocino County handles this case with Derek Hendry, because he has a lot of friends, that's what we're gonna see. We're gonna see a lot of that type of stuff. That's why I'm doing a video on it, so that you guys know what's going on. And I always like to let you guys know what's going on, because there shouldn't be any secrets like this out there. He's not a cop anymore, but he was for numerous years in that county. And I'm hoping also by putting this video out there that more people, because I know there's way more, get the courage to come forward. And I encourage you guys to do so. Don't contact any agency in Mendocino County, any agency. Go to a different one. Go to Lake County Sheriff's Office or whatever that's already handling the investigation. So we'll see what happens going forward. Hopefully the FBI or DOJ or somebody else gets involved, and they never have with anything related to Mendocino County for the most part, and I'm not too sure why that is. Mendocino County just seems like they're left to their own devices and they can just do whatever they want. But we're gonna see what goes on with this. And yeah, I mean, I think that Derek thought that in his mind, like, okay, all these women they have criminal histories, they're documented drug addicts, a lot of them are felons. And he's like, who's gonna believe him? I'm a cop. And that was back then also when a cop's word actually meant something, especially against a criminal. And nowadays that's obviously not the case. Like people as a whole, there are a lot of people that still do like cops and trust police officers, but there's way more distrust now than there was back when he was, back then, when he was doing these things. So times have changed. And when he did stuff with that female police officer at Willits Police Department that he was fired for, I mean, he didn't push it as far with her as he did with these other women. And that's probably because in his mind thought that, okay, she's more credible. She is a police officer. She doesn't have a criminal history. She's not a drug addict. And so he didn't push it as far with her, thank God. But at the same time, it was enough to get him terminated, not arrested. But yeah, so we're gonna see what happens. And I'll keep you guys updated on that type of stuff. And hopefully justice is served. And like I said, obviously they have some decent evidence so far if they're able to get that search warrant done on his home and take his stuff. So for the next video, I actually already recorded it, surprisingly enough. It's not gonna be another 6 to 8 years for me to upload another video, surprisingly. I sat down with Zeke Flatten and we discussed kind of like a podcast style interview of the current RICO investigation involving Mendocino County Sheriff's Office and Fish and Game, dating back to 2017. I've had a lot of people ask me about that case and what's been going on with it, so I just decided to do a video. It is an hour and a half long. It's long as hell. So we'll see how many of you can actually sit through that whole thing. It is pretty interesting. We covered the entire case, and a lot of people think that it's done and over with. It's not. They're still proceeding forward, so we touch on that and some other stuff. And it's getting edited right now, and I should have that in the next few days, less than a week for sure, and that should be up to you guys. So that is going to be it for today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.